Hello everyone, and welcome to what I'm prepping today. Today is chicken soup. So I had a whole chicken, I baked it in the oven, we ate a little bit off of it. It's just Sam and I and Nick's here today. So sometimes with the extra chicken, that's what's left, I'll make some chicken salad, but we don't need any chicken salad right now. So I cleaned off the rest of the chicken and I'm getting ready to make my broth for chicken soup. I've already started to put the chicken in the water, but I wanted to show you again. I think I just told you about my pot, maybe showed it to you before. This makes it super easy. This is called a spaghetti cooker. So this pot makes it super easy to strain or remove things when you're making broth. I did this with my ham broth on the lima beans soup that I made. So once everything just simmers in there for a very long time, you just pull that up and you have everything that you can discard. Now I will go through this after I'm done and make sure that there's no other small pieces of meat in there. Well, not just that. All of that. And these other small pieces that fall off while the broth is cooking will just go back into the soup. So I'll be back. So what I did here was I put everything that was left in the pan, even the gelatin in there, bones and all, everything is in here. And I have it on high, which I will just bring it up to boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to simmer with the lid on while it'll probably be a few hours. I don't just say, okay, leave it on for 2 hours. It's just something that's so subjective. There is a point, though, where you have to say, oh, that's way too much. But so after you decide that your broth is done, and also you'll want to keep coming back, I do anyway, and adding water, because no matter what lid you put on there, unless you're doing a pressure cooker, you're going to have some steam escape, and the water level will fall. So I'll just keep adding water. And then once you decide that all of that is done, now this next part may not be for everyone. I will take out my broth, clean off the rest of the meat that I want for the soup, and then the rest of the bones that are there will go back in to the pot, and those I will allow to cook or simmer overnight. Unless I use a pressure cooker, then it happens much quicker, and that gets the bones crumbly, and then I will smash them to a wet powder, and then they're safe for the dogs to eat. And that way not one speck of the chicken goes to waste. None of it. That may be too much fat for some animals. Some people may still feel like I wouldn't give any of that to Bella. She's the little dog, because I just don't take a chance. And even a little bit of fat in her diet, too much fat, we give her sardines. If she eats a half a sardine too much, she has the diarrhea. So we don't do that. And I didn't know that I would be talking about diarrhea in the same video as making soup. So that's it. We're pretty much done there. I'm just going to get this wrapped up, let this broth come to a boil, and then simmer it. And then I'll be outside working and checking the soup, the broth, occasionally. So now I'm at the next step. I had lifted all the meat up and bones out of the broth, and it simmered probably for about 4 or 5 hours. And then when I lifted that meat up, I put it all in here. So what I'm going to go through here and take out any chunks of meat like that, I'll put back in there. The little skin won't go back in there. That nice little chunk, that chunk will. But I'm not going to add them until the celery is cooked, and then I'm going to add some carrots and let them cook in there as well. And I've got the water going for the noodles. I only used 3 stalks of celery, but I used a pound of baby carrots. I have those cut up, and I'm kind of pre-cooking them in water in the microwave so that the soup won't have to cook for a very, very long time after I add everything. Because, you know, once the celery's softened, I think, you know, that way we'll be able to eat the soup. Here is everything all done. I have the noodles in there. Was that a bone? Did I miss a bone? I better get that out of there. Okay, who wants to eat my soup? I'll leave the bones in. There's the celery. I could have put in more celery, I think. The carrots and the chicken. And then I should have left the noodles out. I guess I wasn't thinking. And now they're a little bit too soft. So I should have just left those out. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. And over here is the pot of, well, yeah, that's smart. All the leftovers. Alrighty, so here's the soup. It's done. I think I should have added a little more celery. I put in 3 stalks of celery. We've eaten 4 bowls of soup out of here already, and most of the celery is gone. There's a nice amount of carrots, broth, and meat left, but I shouldn't have added all the noodles to the soup because they're a little soft. Yeah, I should have just left the noodles out and separate. I maybe could have added some more onion, and I know there's enough garlic in there because I never skimp on the garlic. And I like the soup really well. Nicholas doesn't like it. My son commented on the soggy noodles, but whatever, you know what? It's okay. I'll eat for a week with this soup if nobody else eats it. And then here is the kettle with the bones, meat, leftover meat, and the fat in there that I'm going to let cook down until the bones are very crushable. I'll let them so that you can actually pick them up and go like that with your fingers, and then that's when I'll just go ahead and give them to the dogs, if I can smash them with a fork. And then any part that doesn't smash easily with a fork and doesn't look like kind of grits, when I'm done, then I'll just throw away. So that's it. Just one day for to make the chicken soup, but I didn't have to stay by the stove all day, and it wasn't even a whole chicken. So that chicken, we baked a chicken, we ate one meal with that. The leftover chicken went into the soup, and this is the carcass. So that whole chicken went a long way. So that's what we prepped today. I was hoping I would have enough soup to freeze dry some, but that's not going to happen. That's not enough to freeze dry. In the beginning, there wasn't enough to freeze dry, and we've even eaten some. So that's it. Let me know what you're prepping today, and do you put the noodles in your soup or do you keep them separate? Yeah, because I definitely should have left them separate. Really regretting that now, too. All right, that was disgusting. Be blessed, everyone. Alrighty, so this pot simmered overnight, and I took out a bone, and this is the stage where I want the bones. I just was able to crush that side, so watch, that's the bone. And I can just crush that bone. So now is when I will just, I mean, I can do that with my fingers. Now, you do want to make sure that, like, when you gut that, with these pieces, you crush up as well. This might be a little too much work for some people, but if you're ever short on dog food or short on money for dog food, and this is definitely something that you can do to use every speck of the chicken without one single leftover piece. Now, remember, like Bella, our little dog, we won't give her any of this skin. She'll probably get none of this. Maybe some broth after it's cold and I can take away the fat, because if Bella gets fat in her diet, like even half a sardine too much, she, you know, gets the runs. So it's not pleasant. And also because of the fat content, I will be very sparing with the bigger dogs with this as well. Now once it's in the refrigerator and then that fat solidifies, you can just remove that, and then you're okay. But that's it. I am finally wrapped up with the chicken dinner that changed into chicken soup, and this chicken, one chicken can feed you for a very long time. And this is the dog's breakfast. This is their raw food, and then I just put some of that broth on there, and they're ready to eat. So that's it. Be blessed. I think I said that already before I realized I was adding this part. Okay, it's okay for double blessings, right? What did you prep today?